What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down 3 ways wide receivers can pair their releases and pair their routes together. So we're going to be looking at 3 different press releases that all look fairly similar. The key to getting separation off the line of scrimmage at the top of the route when it comes to route running in general is making your routes, making your releases, your moves all look similar so a DB can't get a read on you and we are unpredictable. So this is a video on how to do that. So I hope this video helps you guys out. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver or a QB and you want to get some work in with us this offseason, we are traveling out to 4 more states across the country for a 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camp. So next up, we're going to be coming out to Dallas, Texas. Then we're going to be heading out to Nashville, Tennessee, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on that, what we'll be doing at the camps, how long each day is, how we're limiting spots to only 10 people per position group, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have some of our YouTube community out to our camps. Let's get started with this video. So first things first here, we're going to be talking about a slant route. This is CeeDee Lamb, and this is some practice film. So this is going to be building off of a slide release, okay? So I'm going to play the clip full speed, then we'll break it down. So he does a little slide off the line, takes 3 steps to the outside, gets that DB to flip his hips, and he runs this slant. So main thing I want you to understand is a DB is looking at mainly 2 things off the line to kind of gauge what we're doing. He's watching my pad level, obviously, so he's looking for any kind of indicators with your hips, you giving away where your routes are going to go, but he's also trying to match your speed and your tempo. So off the line, if you come off with certain releases and it's the same tempo, it's the same type of speed, you're stepping the same way, it doesn't give him a gauge on what we were doing. A lot of times wide receivers don't understand that DB, probably the second smartest player on the field at all times next to the quarterback, right? Usually, like when it comes to like film study and things like that, obviously as a wide receiver, I want you guys to be the smartest on the field, but they love to watch film. They love to try to get our tendencies down. They love to try to predict what we are doing because DB is one of the hardest positions on the field because they don't know what we're doing. They have to play a guessing game and they are playing backwards. So they're looking for any kind of tell. But how I make myself dangerous as a wide receiver is I don't give them that tell. I don't have 9 different routes, and for all 9 routes, I run 9 different releases. I maybe have 3 to 4 releases that I use, but they all build. So this first release is this hesitation slide to the outside. So you would want to use this type of release when the DB's inside shade and you have to run a slant, and it would be a longer developing slant. Because I know what a lot of people will think, that, oh, you can't slide off the line, take this move to the outside, and then run a slant, because that QB is going to be throwing the ball already and we're not going to be there. You got to know when to do it. You want to use a longer developing release like this when it's more like a 5-step drop back concept. Maybe it's an RPO. That's the more common one for the slant route, but you have some time to work off the line. When it's quick game, you got to go with something else. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that slide release and you taking those 3 steps to the outside, that makes that DB think fade. Right? So you come off the line, you give a little tempo change, and DBs are taught, okay, when I see that little slide to the outside, he's changing tempo, sit to the inside. But if I can actually sell it to the outside and take 3 hard steps, commit the hips and shoulders, because that's where the DB is watching, that can get him to open up that gate, and that can open me up to this slant. Now, how we can build off of this is by something called a slide and go release and then a slide 1-2. And those are the next 2 clips of the exact same DB and the exact same look, or not the exact same DB, but the exact same practice footage from CeeDee Lamb. So let's play this thing full speed. So he slides, takes that 3-step to the outside. Use this on a slant route. You want to threaten the DB's outside shoulder in that case, get him to flip to the fade so we could slip back underneath. Now, how do you make that pair? So if a DB's beat one time on a slant route, what's another route we could get him on? We probably get him on a fade, right? But how we can do that is we can build off of that hesitation slide release to the outside to make my routes look the same so I'm not predictable. Because if you're running a goal line fade and your release is always, let's say, for example, like a split release and you just run, that DB is going to pick up on that. He's going to see on film, every time this guy runs a fade, he does a split release. So if I see that split, expect a fade. But if you could do that slide release and go run a fade, you could do a slide release, go run a slant, you could do a slide and go, restack and run a post. He can't prepare for it. He has to trust his technique. And when a DB has to trust his technique, watch my hips, play my speed, I guess I should say, he's going to be a step behind us. And when he's a step behind, we should win every time because I know how to take care of him at the top of the route. So Lamb does a great job of making this release look the same. Let's play at full speed. So he slides, same angle, same tempo, but he just takes off. So that's the key right there, fellas. That slide release is so great because it forces this DB to make a decision. So he comes off here, he slides to the outside. Same kind of tempo, same kind of hesitation, but you see how this DB's not super quick to open up the gate. He's a little bit more patient. He's sitting to the inside. Maybe he's been beat on this slide release before. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to utilize the fact that I got him on that slant. I got him to jump out of there and I slipped underneath. Maybe I made him look bad. Maybe I just got a couple yards of separation, whatever it is. But he's thinking twice about it now. When you guys can get a DB off of you in press, he is thinking about that. That's why we always talk about selling vertical on this page. When you're running like a comeback route, you're running an out route, we always want to sell what? We always want to sell fade because no DB wants to get beat by a fade. Just like how no DB wants to get embarrassed off the line. So when you slide off the line and you get him to jump way out of there, open up the gate, which is something he shouldn't do, and you're able to run inside, run a slant, especially against inside leverage, he's going to be thinking about that. So when you come off the line and you give him this slide and it's the same tempo, it looks the same, he's going to be sitting to the inside. And if I could just force him to make that decision to sit and I could get him by a step or two, that is easy money, especially when you have a good quarterback who could put that ball up top where you go make a play or put it over the shoulder where it's an easy catch. So that's how we can build off of that slide 1-2 and then a slide and go. Now, some of you might be asking, well, what if he does jump outside? Because we can't change the route mid-play. So if you have to run a route like, let's say, for example, because this slide and go, the slide and the 1-2, like the crossover, I only like that for slants and fades. But when you do this slide and go where you just slide and then take off, I like this for any route because it doesn't take that long. So if you're running like a post route, for example, and let's say you slide to the outside, but let's say the DB doesn't do what we think he does. Let's say he just is, plays this thing bad and he just doesn't know for his own good and he jumps way outside. I could just take the inside release and react. I don't have to force the outside release. Releases are about reacting. We try to set him up, but at the end of the day, you have to have a plan if things don't go your way. Okay, so I'm going to play this thing full speed, then we're going to look at one more release that builds off of both of these techniques. So he slides to the outside, keeps him inside, and then is able to take off and win on that jump ball fade. Again, not a ton of space there, but we don't need a ton of space, especially when we are in the red zone. Okay, so now, this is going to be the same idea, but this is going to be a crossover move inside. So this is a great release that you can use that also builds off of that slide slant. And this one looks extremely similar. So let's play this thing full speed. So he slides 1-2, and he does the opposite 1-2 that we did before. So same thing on a fade route. And this is the one that I only like on a fade route because it takes a little bit too long. But hey, same kind of coverage as the first look. When you're trying to run that slant, you attack his outside shoulder, you get him to open up, we slip under. This one, I slide to the outside, I make it look the same, it's the same kind of tempo, same kind of everything. But I hit that 1-2, and I sell like I'm going inside. Hips and shoulders are faking there. I'm stepping there. I hit a crossover. It's the same tempo. It's the same angle on the release. And it's the same pretty much same concept of the release, but we're faking the opposite way. This is how you're unpredictable, fellas. If you can do this off the line, if you can pair releases together, if you could pair routes together where it's not a super predictable thing where that DB knows exactly what we're doing, it's very, very tough to stop you. Think about it from a DB perspective. He has no idea what you're running and his back is turned, right? He's starting out in a back pedal. That is very, very tough. That's why a good DB should get a ton of credit, should get all the credit in the world because they have a very, very tough job. So they rely heavily on film study. They look for any kind of tells that we can give them. So going into a game, you should not have any of those tells. Like, for example, the way I look at it is like when I used to coach high school ball, we would spend hours and hours on tendencies. Hey, what are our tendencies and how can we make ourselves unpredictable so the team that's preparing for us has no idea what we're doing? Because that's like the mental battle of football. And then same thing as a wide receiver. You see that clip, there's an old school video of Doug Baldwin talking about releases and how he would look at DB's tendencies. He'd have binders on each DB. Hey, this DB does this DB does that. But DBs do the exact same thing for us. They're looking at what we do all the time. Oh, he likes this move. When he does this route, he does this. But if I can change it up a little bit or make it look the same, he has no way of knowing. He's coming into a game and he solely has to rely on his technique, his eye discipline. And I know based on some of the stuff that we talk about, that we rep, how to take care of that. Selling vertical, dropping on a dime, accelerating out of the break. If I could do those things and make myself unpredictable, very, very tough to stop in any situation as a wide receiver. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. These are 3 perfect examples of how to pair your releases and how to pair your routes. Great job sliding, hitting that 1-2, forcing that DB to stay to the inside, then winning on that fade ball. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. You guys help keep this channel rolling, so we definitely appreciate it. And again, fellas, if you'd like to train with us this offseason, we are traveling out to Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Los Angeles, California for 2-day long QB and wide receiver camps. So check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.